Why do I keep doing this to myself? Callisto Protocol, the game that has lived rent-free in my brain ever since I bounced off it in my initial playthrough. I don't know why, but I just can't get this stupid game out of my head. Do I secretly like it? Do I hate it more than I realized? Or is it because I've never actually beaten the game despite making 2 videos about it and it's really starting to bother me? Oh, okay, that one. It's that one. I've tried playing it normally, but like literally every other game I play these days, that quickly devolved into me being bored out of my mind. Then I tried playing it with just the grip, aka the kinesis module from Dead Space, but the game said no when we got to the first official boss of the game and spat in my face for trying. But I am nothing if not persistent, and making intelligent choices about how I use my time has never been a strong suit of mine. So today, we're back in Callisto Protocol with a new challenge run. Now initially, I thought I'd do just a starting pistol only run and call it a day. The boss we got stuck on last time literally requires you to use a gun to win, so any other challenge runs are already dead in the water. But the farther I pushed into that run, the angrier I got. This game acts like you can make all sorts of builds, and emphasizes melee combat to a ridiculous degree, and yet it has the gall to make a boss unkillable unless you use bullets, and it's in an arena that is designed in such a way that you can softlock your run if you don't have enough bullets on your person? Why would you? So instead, I scrapped that idea and decided to do a run that would be the biggest fuck you I could muster. Can you beat Callisto Protocol with only melee? Right then, let's get right into it. For those who aren't aware, we're Jacob, interstellar cargo mule extraordinaire. Today's shipment is 55,000 live murder hornets, hence the straps and double latches. No murdering today for you little buddies. We should leave. Now. Leave now. And after getting boarded by the plot and immediately launching it into space because I don't have time for Dead Space fanfiction, I crash land my ship onto the planet and can begin the run proper. Hands up, everyone. Dead Space 3 flamethrower only. Sorry, I was having a nightmare. I meet up with Elias, who gives me a shiv, which I can technically use as a melee weapon for stealth kills, but not much else. Jimmy opens some doors, then steal a sledgehammer from some fellow inmates and use that instead. And don't worry, the sledgehammer handle has also been sharpened into a shiv, because that's how prison works. The game tries to teach me how to block, which I will never use on purpose, and instead, I practice mastering how to dodge. It's a bit complicated, but I think I can summarize how it works. When you want to dodge right, press right. And after dodging right, you can dodge left by holding left. Am I going too fast? I feel like I'm going too fast. So yeah, that's literally all there is to it. Just press a direction, automatically dodge, then retaliate with your melee weapon. If the enemy survives, just rinse and repeat. Doesn't matter what enemy type it is, doesn't matter how many there are. Just press left or right and time your rebuttals, and you're invincible. Unless the game decides that it's going to grab you, then you take unavoidable damage. But don't worry, I'm sure that won't happen very often. This game is very fair and well balanced, and doesn't need to resort to cheap gimmicks to— oh, not the face! And after crawling through about 42 vents and 14 crawl spaces, I finally find another melee weapon, the stun baton. It's pretty good, but personally I think I'd rather have the sharpened sledgehammer, since that has a bit more heft and stabbing capability, and we're dropping the sledgehammer, okay. Thankfully, the baton is no different than the sledge, so there's no actual growing pains. A few minutes later, we get the pleasure of watching Starkiller get jettisoned out of a glass window. Fortunately, the characters in this game must have all prepared Featherfall today, because they are constantly surviving falls that would just obliterate a human body in real life. So with that bit of foreshadowing out of the way, it's time for the next chapter, Aftermath. Elias throws me a gun, which is not a melee weapon, then the game forces me to use my hard-earned credits to make said gun. But with the mandatory purchase out of the way, we can now focus on the melee skill tree, which also has a mandatory purchase. Hooray! The first upgrade to our baton is a blocking counterattack, which I'm sure is great and all, but is kinda useless considering I've clearly mastered the art of dodging enemy attacks. So that's 300 bucks I'll never get back. But I've still got enough money for one more upgrade. And would you look what we have here? Is that a damage upgrade I see? Oh yeah, come to papa. And with that, the game finally deems me ready to learn how to stealth kill enemies. And yeah, the stealth kill is actually 10 times louder than fighting them normally, but it also ends combat about 3 times faster, so I'm not complaining. We've also started running into ranged enemies. Oh hey, would you look at that? Walking left or right works on them too. I figured out that my weapon has a heavy attack, which can knock enemies down and away from you. Add climbing ladders to the ever-growing list of ways this game tries to hide loading screens, then take a minute to get a fresh shirt and pants out of the dryer. Mine are all bloody, so this is— not the face! I accidentally stumble into the plot, which is just a watered-down version of Dead Space 1, do that thing where I press R1 until everything around me dies, sell literally everything I own, then spend my hard-earned cash on another damage upgrade. Because the combat in this game is slow. and the less time it takes me to kill enemies, the faster we can get off the ride. I also decided to buy an upgrade that gives me another hit in my melee combo, because more hits means more DPS, and the more DPS we have, the faster we can get off the ride. And after looting a nearby room and deciding that I do not in fact need health kits, I decided to buy one more upgrade, which makes it so that the enemies that try to block my attacks will lose the appendage they blocked with, which means enemies will have less counterattacks. And the less counterattacks they have, the faster we can, and with combat encounters now shorter, the likelihood of me needing health kits is even less than it was before. Harvey? No, stop, get off. Whew. Okay, Harvey's back in his cage, so we should be, oh shit. Harvey, no, get the fuck down, Harvey! Unfortunately, Callisto Protocol is very fond of Harvey, as well as those little grub things that like to latch onto my face. And without a gun, there's zero chance of avoiding the damage they deal. So that's a problem we'll need to consider. Also, did you know? Stealth killing enemies that are bigger than you isn't a thing. Guess it's beat downtown all the way for you, bub. Which led to a new discovery. If you're surrounded by enemies, mashing the strong attack button will warp you around the fight. This isn't edited footage. Jacob's just super excited to play some home run derby. Now, this technique is messy and unpredictable, as sometimes the game decides that you aren't going to warp to an enemy, and you just get hit instead. So you're probably better off fighting enemies normally. Just thought I'd point out another piece of the jank while we're here. But, after going back to playing normally and using the heavy attack for its intended purpose, I make my way to the shoe, which is apparently full of spitters. Wait, what? I took your head off, how are you still- Ew, wait. I make my way through the grind room section, which is as easy as you'd expect, then get sucker punched by the plot. Hi Danny, good to see you again. Then we just have to make it through my favorite part of the game, where you shimmy through 6 separate shimmy sections and 3 unavoidable grapple encounters in less than 3 minutes of gameplay. No, I'm not kidding. And so long as we make it past this robot stealth section, we should be good to go. Or we would be, if Humphrey McGee over here didn't ruin everything. Ah, what are you doing? Get off of me! Oh good, you've upset the robot. And now I'm dead. And my head exploded for no reason. Limp past the OSHA-approved saw trap, look at what the game has been trying to load with all those previous shimmy sections for all of 10 seconds, and we're finally on to the next section, Habitat. I make my way through some sewers, because anything involving a prison requires a sewer line escape, then meet the new enemies of the game, the Stealthy Boys. Oh, hello there. Did you just take me from full health to 0 in one QuickTime event? I'm not even mad, I'm just impressed. But every cloud has a silver lining, and because of all the nonsense I've had to deal with up to this point, I can finally afford the final damage upgrade for my baton. Now to test it out. Okay. Yeah, alright, I can work with that. And after looting everything I can get my grubby little hands on, I can even afford the blocking upgrade. And I know that I said that I never use blocking, which is true, but the final upgrade to that tree is some sort of automatic damage to any enemy you block, and that might be helpful later. Besides, the other remaining skill just makes it so that your gun locks onto enemies easier after you've hit them with your baton. So after we get these defense upgrades, we're actually maxed out on skills. Hey look, subliminal advertising. God, I could go for some Z-Cola right now. In other news, every single enemy in the game just got a tentacle upgrade. According to the man who decided it was okay to graffiti all over the prison walls, you're supposed to shoot them. And since that's not gonna happen, any fights where I fail to kill an enemy fast enough are gonna essentially start over with a fully healed enemy that does insane amounts of damage. So that's fun. For the time being, all the enemies we're up against have low enough health that I can kill them quickly. But we both know that's not gonna last very long. Take your lumps! Whew. Working up a bit of a sweat over here. Better cool off. Ah, just what I had in mind. Poo water. Huh, that's strange. Tastes like Z-Cola. And after another round of shimmying through vents and taking more unavoidable damage from Harvey, I've finally made it to the titular habitat. And after sneaking past a few more robots, I can skip past the plot and upgrade my weapon to... hard crash. Alright, how far back did this put me? Oh cool, the beginning of the chapter. Awesome. Well, alright, that's like 30 minutes of progress gone, but at least we... Wait, is this not even my melee run? I swear I told the game to continue for my last save file. Hey chat, wanna hear a man's soul break in real time? No, that's the wrong game. What date is it? Oh cool, it didn't save any of my... Okay, cool. Alright, cool. Done. Bye. Nope, not doing that. Alright, GG. Thanks game, good time. What happened there? This game has an autosave. Where is the I have to load it up again. Maybe it just goofed. Yeah, check my entitlements again, you stupid bitch. I see there's 3 manual saves, which is incorrect. There was like several last time I did things. That's 2.5 hours wasted. Hey, while I'm here, let's save. Here, look, there's fucking autosaves. Yeah, what the fuck is this? It just autosaved on repeat. for like 10 minutes. What is this? No, it's cool. I'm glad autosaves 1 through 10 are literally just me starting the game. That's very cool. It's very cool and good. Very excited about that. All right, well, that's awesome. Glad that whole save is just gone. That's very good. Very good game. Well done. Okay. So yeah, game crashed, somehow ate all of my autosaves, and I had to start this run all over again. Needless to say, this is the last time I play this game. But after several hours of shimmying, for it is always shimmying, I'm finally back to where I was. And yes, I saved this time. But good news, it doesn't fucking matter. Because even if you go through all the trouble of upgrading your weapon and then save, when you die, the game kicks you in the balls and puts you all the way back to an arbitrary save point. Oh, and a word to the wise, don't drop anything you actually want. I accidentally pressed drop instead of use on this health kit, and now I can't pick it up again. It's right fucking there, but I can't pick it up. Never in my life have I seen a game try so hard not to be played. Insane. Love this game. Super cool. Well made. Honestly, probably deserves the awards it got. Wait, you didn't get any awards? Why? And the pain train didn't stop there. On the way out of the habitat, there's this stealthy boy section where they come out of the trees and attack you. No problem, right? Easy enemy to kill. Except there's a robot from earlier still out here, and he aggroes at the mere thought of you getting into a fight with someone other than him. And don't even think about waiting until he's on the other side of the map. My man must have downloaded 16 terabytes of extra RAM today, because he can see through space and time. You know what, Callisto? Fine. You win. I can feel my soul leaving my body with each step I take in this godforsaken game, and I play Dark Souls for a living. Maybe it's for the best if I just give up now and save some sanity for bigger and better things.
Objection!
Psych! You thought I'd let you get away with being a shameless copy of Dead Space 1 through 3 and ruin my day? Au contraire, you lanky-ass Walmart version poo-poo platter mother bitch. But don't worry, in the interest of respecting my time and yours, we're just gonna jump to the important bits and occasionally show you how to get past all of the parts of the run that are supposed to make melee only impossible. Starting with crawling carry here. Normally, these guys crawl at you until you shoot them or throw them with your grip. And failure to do so causes them to explode and do a lot of damage. But they have one weakness: ledges. Get somewhere out of reach, and the game just gives up and makes them explode. Nothing interesting happens for the rest of this section, and at this point your weapon should be fully upgraded, so let's keep moving, shall we? Oh god, Danny, don't open that. Danny, run the murder hornets! Plot, 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 Dead Space 2, and next section, below. This whole chapter is more or less one big stealth segment, and since the stealth kill is a melee attack, this whole section should be smooth sailing. Jesus, Jacob, calm down. One button kills are a nice change of pace, if I'm being honest. If only the rest of the game could go this well. Wait, things are going too well. Ah, there it is. At this point in the game, there's nothing to spend money on, so I just pump all of my money into crafting medkits, and the rest of the chapter flies by without any issue, as expected. Until we get to the fabled first boss fight. The fight that stopped my last run and absolutely requires a gun to beat. Two-Head. Two-Head here can kill you in one hit, can't be blocked, so the skill where enemies take damage from your blocks doesn't affect him, and his counterattack to any melee strikes you do is so fast that it basically automatically hits you. Lucky for me, I have the strongest weapon of all, gravity. And there you go, chapter complete. Next stop, the colony. This chapter has us meeting up with Danny amongst a makeshift town of sorts, which is naturally full of multiple different enemy types. The game does its best to avoid being heavy-handed with its plot, a task it fails spectacularly, and while the visual of being jammed in a room with multiple enemies invokes fear, the fact that they all wait their turn to attack you kinda ruins the effect. Let me just hop on down here. Whoa, easy Jacob. Maybe lay off the morning mimosas next time, yeah? Oh hey Danny, you plotting? Ooh, what's this do?
I won't go. You can't make me!
And featherweight champion Danny seems to have Jacob on the ropes.
That's right, Lemon. Well known for her plot hook. You don't want to underestimate this little ball of fury.
Too true, Carl, but it looks like neither of our fighters were expecting to be set on tumble dry low today. I don't think I've seen Jacob protect his face this entire time. Ugh, okay. No more WWE before bed. Oh, hi, Mark. Danny decided the best course of action was to relive these people's memories by hacking into them or whatever, so she's a bit out of it at the moment. But don't worry about her. They say the best medicine for concussion is another concussion, and Dr. Two-Head here is more than happy to fill out that prescription. Oh, Two-Head is the second boss as well, just in case you didn't pick up on that. This fight takes place in a small street with multiple houses that you can run and hide in, but because we're already at ground level, we don't have any gravity we can work with this time. But we don't need gravity. We just need this greenish house and this particular corner that has a vent cover and TV in it. Once you've got Two-Head feeling comfortable, just keep dodging back and forth to push him further back into the corner. And if you get him lined up just right, there you go. It's just that easy. Now, if you'll excuse me. Not much to look at once you scrape him off your boot. After that, Danny and I make it to the nearby research lab, where a scientist hologram excitedly lore dumps onto us for several minutes. You know that one part of Fallout 4 where you're forced to walk from memory to memory because Bethesda forgot how to naturally integrate the plot into the gameplay? This is that. If you're looking for the too many shimmies didn't play version, this is a giant alien. Security killed it, but found a bunch of larvae inside its body. Larvae which spread the disease that has been turning everyone into whatever the enemies of this game are supposed to be. Zombies? I don't know. Wait, Jacob, is that? Oh god. Oh god, the murder hornets! Wait a minute, these aren't murder hornets. Ah, right, gotta input the code. On. There we are. And there they are. What, you thought the murder hornets was just a joke? I would never. Speaking of jokes, it's time for the third boss. It's Starkiller, though he's looking a bit more Pillsbury Doughboy than earlier. Hey buddy, need a boost? There you go, topped off. Hey chat, wanna know what makes this boss different from every other enemy in the game? He attacks 4 times instead of 3. I know, right? Well, that was boring and uneventful. You better bring your A game next time, bud. That was embarrassing. Hey Danny, did you see me kick that guy's ass? Oh, come on, can't a guy insult a shitty boss for 5 seconds without someone getting face hugged? Alright, let me just press a few buttons and we'll be back on the surface. Good thing all these ancient machines still work. Uh-oh. Danny, you didn't get into Jacob's morning mimosa stash, did you? That stuff is made in a prison toilet. Ugh. Yeah, that's the toilet mimosa, alright. You'll feel better in a bit. Let's just keep going. Oh, look, it's the shoe. Guess the warden's been remodeling while we were away. Right, you chill here. I'll be back in a bit. Oh, hi! My, what big beefy metal arms you have. Do you work out? Well, time for the next chapter. Tower. I've got the scientist lady from the holograms chirping in my ear, telling me she was able to hack one of the robots. Not mine, obviously, since I'm back in my cell.
Where is she?
Where is she? The main challenge for this chapter is another boss we'll need to beat. Anyone want to place bets on what that boss is? Did you guess it was just Two-Head again? Because you'd be right. No gravity or wonky TV hitboxes to save us this time. I guess this is where the run officially ends. We had a good run, but it's finally time to let the hate go. Ah, please. Did you think there wasn't even more jank in this game that we can exploit? This is Callisto Protocol, baby. Jank is just what we do here. And after a few dodges near the door, I've somehow managed to shove Two-Head through the bars and out of the arena. And here's where things get really wild. Because Two-Head is outside of the arena, any and all damage he tries to do is nullified, presumably to avoid any mobs from outside the boss fight interfering. But the same rule doesn't apply to me. I'm still in the boss arena after all. Every now and again, we need to dodge an attack or two to make sure Two-Head stays outside the arena, otherwise his attacks will start to do damage again. But once we've got enough hits in, he'll do a staggered animation. Once that happens, feel free to let him back into the room, dodge his attack, and then give him a piece of your mind to get him back into that stagger range. And once he's staggered, just go completely ham on the bastard. Do enough damage, and you'll kill one of the heads, sending the boss into phase 2. Oh yeah, this boss has multiple phases apparently. Had no idea until just now. Despite one head now having a slightly different moveset, he's just as susceptible to being pushed through the bars, which means our strategy doesn't change throughout the fight. And just like last time, once you've gotten a stagger animation outside of the arena, go ahead and let him back in for the coup de grace. Is this bullying? I feel like this is bullying at this point. And after a couple dozen fights in the prison psychiatric unit, which had a worrying amount of sharp obtrusions on the walls, I round the corner to find, you guessed it, another Two-Head. Are you even trying anymore? I won't bury the lead on this one. You can see the giant fan at the end of the hallway. You and I both know where this is going. There's one head, and there's 2 heads. Honestly, why'd they even bother? We find the scientist, who was about to inject something into Danny's neck, but says that it's just some hair of the dog to help Danny with her mimosa poisoning. But don't worry, Ms. Scientist says that we can fully cure Danny if we get a sample from the warden's most advanced test subject. And since there doesn't appear to be any saltines and Gatorade on this planet, I guess that's our best bet. Let me just skip through the plot here real quick. Wow, there's a lot of it. So, how you doing over there? Doing good? After that, Callisto Protocol decides it wants to go the secret organization controls the universe route, complete with golden masks and hidden identities, and then for plot reasons, we're whisked away into one of Danny's memories, where we realize that our murder hornet delivery to her home planet was what killed her sister and all the other people that died there as well. Whoops. But with one final hallway, we're at the end of the game, where I interrupt a super secret meeting between the Warden and the Illuminati, or whatever they go by nowadays.
The survivor.
Alright, don't like that. The warden explains that the whole reason he's doing any of this is to make humans evolve, because we're too fragile to survive out in space. It's all for the greater good.
The greater good.
But in this game's universe, humans are literally a spacefaring people. Your logic doesn't make any sense. This isn't for the greater good.
The greater good.
Shut up over there. Oh, whatever. Let's just get this over with. Who's this alpha I need to poke? Yeah, that makes sense. It was either you or another two-head. So considering this is the final boss, they gave Starkiller some new moves, right? Surely they didn't make this just another dodge-hit-dodge fight like last time, right? Guys? Hello? Yeah, no, that's literally all it is. Wow, that's bad. But don't worry. Starkiller gains the upper hand by using plot armor in a cutscene, and it's super effective. But unfortunately for him, he's about to find out what happens when you overdo it on the toilet mimosas. Should have read the warning labels, my dude. Side effects may include nausea, vomiting, and... okay, that's a new one. We may need to do a recall on that batch. So, the final boss of the game. Time to see if melee only holds up. Well, we're able to get hits in, so there's that, but I don't think my hits are actually doing anything. If the 25 plus years of experience I have in gaming is anything to go off of, that protective shell around his head is the game's way of telling me that the only way to hurt him is by hitting his head, which I obviously can't do with my baton. And after doing some searching across the internet to confirm, it appears that there's no way to kill this boss with glitches either, which means that I can finally say with certainty that no, you cannot in fact beat Callisto Protocol with only melee. Almost, but not quite. But since we've come all this way, we might as well do some testing. If I use my grip to launch some explosives at the boss, we can break his shield just fine. But even without his face shield, his body doesn't take any damage as far as I can tell. I can also confirm that blocking in hopes of counter damage is a non-starter, since you can't block his melee attacks. And there's no pieces of furniture or ramps or anything like that in the arena that would give you a little extra height in hopes of hitting his face with your baton. So melee damage is completely out. But in order to quiet the voices that would inevitably pop up again in a few months, I also took the time to reload a previous save and upgraded my grip to maximum. Might as well see if grip only would have gotten the job done while we're here. And while there are several boxes of loot around the map that you can throw at him, as well as the previously mentioned explosives, I can also confirm that grip only is a no-go as well. Don't get me wrong, it's way better than trying to beat the boss with only melee. You can even get to his final phase, but there's just not enough to throw around the map to get over the finish line. The worst part? It's really close. There's 3 types of throwable objects in the fight: loot boxes, explosives, and exploding enemies. All of them are limited quantities, and all of them do slightly different damage. But even when I was playing my best, it wasn't enough. I made sure that the boss didn't smash any loot boxes, avoided using explosives against his shield so as to maximize their effectiveness once the shield came down, and made every single throw count, always aiming for the head. But at the end of the day, there's just not enough. No matter how you do it, no matter how well you play, the math just doesn't add up. So no, you can't beat Callisto Protocol with only the grip either. You hear that, brain? It can't be done. Shut up and sit down. But I bet you're wondering, how close were we to killing the final boss with only the grip? 2 unupgraded pistol shots away. Just had to have the last word, didn't you? Ah well, what can you do? I collect the sample, give it to Danny to cure her hangover, run down another series of hallways that have literally nothing going on, then reach the escape pods and find there's only 1 pod left. Right, in you go. Please keep all hands and feet inside the vehicle, and don't forget to check underneath your seat for any of your personal belongings. And there you go. That's Callisto Protocol. Almost beaten with melee, almost beaten with the grip, and almost beaten with my sanity intact. At least Danny gets to live. It'd be a real shame if she forgot to get rid of all the murder hornet. Oh no. Oh, and for those of you wondering if you can beat the DLC with only melee, I'll save you some time. The answer is yes. The DLC took about 2 hours to beat, and after playing through the rest of the game, unless you really enjoyed Callisto Protocol, I don't think it's worth your time. The whole DLC is just combat with larger groups of enemies, a lot of insanity sequences that feel very forced, and the one redeeming quality it has, a new melee weapon, the hammer. But I wouldn't get too excited about that one. It only appears for the last half hour of the DLC, has no upgrade tree, and replaces your stun baton. They tried to make things a bit more tense by adding traps to the shimmy sections, but in reality, all this did was double the amount of crawling through the vents you have to do. And even when they went out of their way to avoid vent sections, they just replaced all the crawling with pointless hallways and doors. And yeah, you could pass it off as, ooh, Jacob's losing his mind. But come on, we both know that pig don't fly. And if you make it to the end, you get one last boss fight. And it's fucking two-head again. The only difference is that this one can be hit with melee attacks, it teleports when you've got it cornered, and it shoots fireballs at you every so often. Fantastic. Redeems the whole game, 12 out of 10. Ah well, at least you get to make Jacob stick his hand in a toilet. That's fun, I guess. And there you go. Callisto Protocol, challenge run in the only meaningful ways I can think of. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go make some more mimosas. God knows I need one. Thanks for watching. Hopefully my suffering brought you some joy. And as always, take care of yourselves, be good to one another, and I'll see you all again soon.